They tugged at your heart, didn't they? Played your compassion like a puppet, made you feel guilty for daring to break free. But here's the truth they don't want you to see. Their comfort was never your cage. They twisted your evolution into betrayal. But guess what? You're done. Done explaining, done apologizing. You were never meant to fit in their small world. You were born to shatter it. They didn't lose you, you outgrew them. Period. Growth tears through your life like a wildfire. Unapologetic, necessary, and impossible to ignore. It demands you shed what no longer fits. Habits, beliefs, and yes, even relationships. This isn't betrayal. It's the price of stepping into who you were always meant to be. Evolution isn't polite. It doesn't wait for permission or ask for understanding. It disrupts, dismantles, and destroys what isn't strong enough to survive in the presence of your rising power. When you grow, connections that once felt like home can start to suffocate. Your energy shifts, and suddenly you're speaking a language they no longer understand. It's not rejection, it's redirection. The bonds you outgrow were never meant to hold the weight of your becoming. Like Odin trading his eye for wisdom, you must sacrifice comfort for clarity, the familiar for the truth. It's painful, yes, but it's necessary. You cannot carry everyone with you, and some won't even try to keep up. This isn't cruelty, it's destiny. The chosen ones are called to lead, not linger. Those unwilling to evolve alongside you will fall away, not because they are lesser, but because they are not ready. You don't owe them your stagnation. You don't owe them your wings. You were not born to dim your light for anyone. Evolution isn't about abandoning others. It's about claiming your rightful place, even if it means standing alone. Let the fires of growth consume what no longer serves, and watch what emerges in its wake, the unshakable, unstoppable version of you. Your growth will terrify them. Your success, your evolution, your sheer existence as someone who refuses to stay small. It reflects back to them everything they are not ready to face. It's not your ambition that hurts them. It's the mirror you hold up, exposing their own stagnation. They'll resent you for it, lash out, even try to dim your light. But understand this: their discomfort is their battle. Their bitterness is their burden. You were not born to carry it. Their resentment is not your problem. It's their reckoning. Your only responsibility is to keep moving forward, no matter how uncomfortable your growth makes them. They can fight their shadows or let them consume them. Either way, you keep going. Your light was not given to you to make others feel safe. It was given to you to lead, to blaze trails, to become everything they said you couldn't be. Shine so fiercely that even their darkest doubts can't dim what you were born to do. Drop a comment. I was born to shine if you're done dimming your light for others. When I started focusing on my purpose, everything changed. Friends who once celebrated me grew distant, their support fading into silence. At first I blamed myself, wondering if I had done something wrong. But the truth was sharper. My growth was a spotlight on their unwillingness to evolve. My focus, my drive, my refusal to stay the same, it disrupted the comfort zone we once shared. It hurt to watch the bonds unravel, but I couldn't stay stagnant for their sake. I had to keep moving forward, even if it meant walking alone. Growth isn't easy, but staying small was never an option. They will weaponize your empathy to keep you in place. Family, the ones who know your heart best, may use it against you. They'll remind you of every sacrifice they made, every struggle they endured, as if their past is your burden to carry. They'll frame your growth as abandonment, painting you as selfish for daring to want more. But understand this: their guilt is not your truth. Their fear of losing you is their own insecurity screaming to be heard. They aren't evil. They're scared. Your evolution is a mirror reflecting the stagnation they refuse to face. They cling to the familiar, not because they hate you, but because your transformation threatens the world they've built around you. Growth always creates friction, and the closer the bond, the sharper the resistance. They'll say you've changed, as if staying the same were something to be proud of. They'll pull at your heartstrings, hoping to keep you tethered, but your purpose doesn't come with a permission slip. Your compassion is your strength, not their tool. Loving your family doesn't mean letting them chain you to their fears. Guilt is a heavy weapon, but it only works if you let it. Your journey isn't betrayal, it's necessary. Growth doesn't mean leaving them behind forever. It means breaking the cycle, leading by example, and showing them what's possible. You can honor their sacrifices without making them your ceiling. You weren't born to live in the shadows of their doubts. Keep moving forward even if it hurts. You owe them love, not your stagnation. Growth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It drags you into the unknown, forcing you to confront parts of yourself you've long ignored. The familiar will call to you, begging you to stay safe, stay small, stay unchanged. But real transformation demands you step boldly into discomfort, the kind that burns away illusions and exposes the raw truth. As Eckhart Tolle said, change is the end of something old, but also the birth of something new. This isn't just a shift, it's a rebirth. And birth is never easy. It's painful, messy, and violent against what once was. Discomfort is the doorway. The dreams you're chasing, the life you're building, the person you're becoming, they all live on the other side of fear. Staying in the shallow waters of what you know is tempting, but you weren't made to stay in the shallows. Leaning into the unknown is where strength is forged and purpose revealed. The unfamiliar isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's terrifying. But growth doesn't ask for your permission. It demands your courage. You'll lose the old version of yourself, the one that played it safe, the one that clung to comfort zones. But in its place, the you who was always meant to rise. This isn't the end, it's your beginning. They'll weaponize nostalgia to pull you back. Friends who once cheered you on may now cling to old memories, using them like chains to keep you tethered to the past. They'll laugh and say, "Remember when you used to?" As if the version of you that served their comfort is the only one worth keeping. But understand this, their longing for who you were is not about love. It's about control. They don't miss you. They miss the version of you that didn't challenge their stagnation. But you cannot let their nostalgia become your cage. Growth requires letting go even when it's painful. You are not obligated to carry the weight of who you used to be for the sake of their comfort. Moving forward doesn't erase the past, it redefines it. You are allowed to cherish the memories while rejecting the prison they try to build from them. Keep evolving, keep moving. Their memories are theirs to hold, but your future is yours to claim. They will twist your vulnerability into chains, claiming your growth is proof that you've stopped loving them. Romantic partners who fear their own inadequacies might accuse you of leaving them behind, using guilt as a weapon to keep you small. They'll say, "You're not the same anymore," as if staying stagnant is a badge of honor. But here's the truth. Love does not demand stagnation. Real love supports growth, even when it's uncomfortable. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual growth, not the confinement of one partner to make the other feel safe. Your evolution is not abandonment. It's the natural progression of anyone who refuses to settle. If they cannot rise to meet you, that is not your burden to carry. Your love should elevate, not extinguish, and a partner who truly values you will never see your growth as a threat. Don't trade your light to soothe their shadows. You were born to rise, and love, real love, will rise with you. Now I want you to listen very closely. They say the truth will set you free, but most can't handle it. For the chosen ones in the Obsidian Inner Order, it's not just the truth. It's the whole cosmic download. No sugarcoating, no escape. This week we bring you a story you'll never hear on YouTube. A chosen one who broke free from the clutches of a satanic cult and found redemption in the divine. It's raw, it's real, and it's exactly the kind of revelation that would make an Archon sweat. In the Inner Order, we don't just talk, we gather. Weekly calls with over 400 ascended souls diving deep into the secrets they don't want you to know. We're not for the faint of heart, and we're definitely not for muggles. I don't always share my secrets, but when I do, it's in the Obsidian Inner Order. Click the link in the description. Stay chosen, my friends. Guilt is the heaviest chain they'll place around your neck, and the words "you've changed" are their weapon of choice. They'll wield it like a dagger, aiming straight for your heart, as if evolving into your true self is a betrayal. But listen closely. Growth isn't disloyalty. It's stepping into the truth of who you are and leaving behind the lies you told yourself to keep others comfortable. The guilt they impose is a reflection of their fear, not your failure. In Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Victor creates life but abandons it out of guilt, unable to face the consequences of his actions. That guilt festers, turning into destruction, consuming not only him but everything he holds dear. Guilt is a corrosive force, and if you let it linger, it will eat away at your purpose. The weight of guilt is not yours to bear. It belongs to those who use it to manipulate and control you. When they say, "You've changed," they're really saying, "I'm afraid you'll leave me behind." But you cannot sacrifice your evolution to soothe their insecurities. Growth demands courage. It demands that you step boldly into the unknown, even when others try to tether you to the past. You owe no one an apology for outgrowing who you once were. Release the guilt, or it will destroy you like it did Victor. Their discomfort is not your prison, and their fear is not your burden. Keep moving forward. Growth is not a betrayal, it's freedom. Choosing yourself will make them call you selfish, but that's the lie they tell to keep you small. They've been conditioned to glorify sacrifice, to believe that giving everything away, even your essence, is a virtue. They'll frame your decision to prioritize yourself as betrayal, a rejection of what's right. But here's the truth. Self-care is not selfish. It's survival. It's the foundation of leadership, of impact, of real change. The world has taught them to equate suffering with strength, as if burning yourself out for others proves your worth. But you cannot lead from an empty vessel. You cannot pour out wisdom, guidance, or love when you're drained. True leaders know this and refuse to apologize for protecting their energy. Those who label you selfish are projecting their fear of doing the same. They don't understand that by choosing yourself, you're also choosing to become someone capable of lifting others higher. This isn't about abandoning your responsibilities. It's about fulfilling them in a way that honors your humanity. Self-care isn't indulgence, it's discipline. Choosing yourself means ensuring you have the strength to walk your path without collapsing under the weight of others' expectations. Let them talk. Let them judge. Their opinion isn't your truth. Prioritizing your well-being doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to preserve your ability to make a difference. The illusion of selfishness is their excuse to stay stuck. Don't fall for it. You weren't born to sacrifice your purpose for their comfort. You were born to lead. Breaking free from cultural expectations will make you feel like a traitor, but you aren't betraying anyone. You're freeing yourself. They will call you disrespectful, ungrateful, or lost for rejecting the rules they've wrapped their identity around. These norms, built on outdated traditions, are prisons disguised as pride. They were never designed to nurture your growth, only to keep you compliant, but you were not born to be a pawn in their play. Cultural or societal traditions demand sacrifice, but too often they ask for your identity as the price. They glorify conformity, celebrate obedience, and shame anyone who dares to color outside their lines. When you choose to evolve, to honor your higher purpose, they'll try to drag you back with guilt. This is how it's always been, they'll say, as if tradition alone is reason enough to stay small. But tradition without truth is a cage, and honoring outdated norms while betraying yourself is not loyalty, it's destruction. Your evolution is not disrespect. It's the highest form of honor to the ancestors who dreamed of something greater for their future. They didn't suffer for you to play small. They endured so you could thrive. Your alignment with your higher purpose doesn't erase their legacy, it redefines it. Let them call you selfish or rebellious. Their discomfort with your growth is a reflection of their fear, not your failure. You weren't born to carry the weight of every outdated rule. You were born to break them and lead a life rooted in truth, not tradition. Keep going. You owe them nothing but your greatness. They don't hate your growth. They fear what it means for them. Your evolution shines a glaring light on their stagnation, and rather than rise, they'll try to anchor you down. They'll call it love, concern, tradition, but it's fear wrapped in control. They need you to stay where they are so they don't have to face the discomfort of their own complacency. They fear your growth because it threatens to expose their unwillingness to change. Their fear isn't about losing you. It's about losing the comfort of the version of you that didn't challenge their stagnation. They'll cling to you, using guilt, nostalgia, and love as weapons to keep you tethered to their world. But understand this. Their fear of abandonment is not your responsibility. Growth isn't rejection, it's evolution. You cannot halt your progress to soothe their insecurities. As the Zen proverb says, let go or be dragged. They'll accuse you of leaving them behind, but the truth is they've already chosen to stay still. Your evolution is their wake-up call, and rather than rise with you, they may choose to stay in the safety of what they know. That's their journey, not yours. Don't let their fear become your chain. You can love them, support them, even hope for their growth, but you cannot shrink yourself to fit into the life they refuse to expand. Let go of the guilt they try to place on you. Their fear of being left behind doesn't require your sacrifice. You are not abandoning them. You are stepping into the fullness of your potential. And sometimes, the ones who cling the hardest need to see you soar the highest to realize they too can fly. Your success is a threat because it forces them to confront everything they've refused to change. Watching you rise makes them see their own stagnation, their wasted potential, and the dreams they abandoned out of fear. It's not your ambition that angers them. It's the reflection of their failure in your victories. Instead of rising to meet you, they'll try to pull you back down, cloaking their resentment in criticism and judgment. It's easier for them to label you as arrogant, selfish, or lucky than to admit they chose comfort over growth. Your evolution challenges their excuses, and they hate that. They'll say you've forgotten where you came from, as if staying in the same place is a virtue. They'll belittle your progress to protect their pride, but their words are only a mirror of their own insecurities. Let them talk. Their fear isn't your responsibility. You don't owe them your stagnation to ease their discomfort. Growth is not betrayal, it's transformation. And transformation demands courage, something they haven't yet summoned. If they truly wanted what you have, they'd take the same risks, make the same sacrifices, and push through the same discomfort. Their refusal to rise doesn't make you wrong for climbing higher. Change terrifies them because it shatters the illusion of control. The status quo, no matter how broken, feels safe because it's familiar. Growth disrupts that safety, forcing them to confront the cracks they've ignored. Your evolution is a threat to their comfort, not because it harms them, but because it exposes how little they've moved. They'll resist, criticize, and try to hold you back, not out of malice but out of fear. Stagnation thrives on stability, and your growth is a storm they can't contain. Systems, relationships, and communities built on complacency will fight to keep things the same, even when change is the only path forward. Your progress will unsettle them because it forces accountability. It calls out the patterns, habits, and excuses they've used to justify staying still. But progress cannot be negotiated. It demands disruption. It demands transformation. Their resistance isn't about you, it's about their fear of losing what they know. Don't let their fear become your anchor. Growth is not meant to be comfortable, it's meant to be revolutionary. You are not here to maintain the status quo. You're here to destroy it, to rebuild something stronger, something real. Letting go is an act of freedom, not cruelty. The ties that bind you to old versions of yourself, to relationships that no longer align, must be severed for you to step into your truth. Cutting energetic cords isn't about rejection, it's about release. When I found myself holding on to a friendship I had outgrown, the weight of unspoken grief felt unbearable. So I wrote a letter, not to send but to release. In it I poured out gratitude for the moments we shared, the lessons learned, and the person I became because of them. And then I let it go. The act of writing helped me process the loss and move forward with peace. Visualizing these energetic cords and imagining them dissolving or being cut was another powerful step. In my mind, I saw each thread that kept me tied to what I had outgrown snapping one by one, leaving behind a sense of lightness and freedom. These rituals were not about erasing the past, but honoring it while stepping into what comes next. Declaring new boundaries completed the process. When I communicated my needs with clarity and compassion, I protected my energy without guilt. These boundaries weren't walls to shut people out. They were bridges to healthier relationships, with others and with myself. Cutting cords isn't easy, but staying tethered to what no longer serves you is far harder. Letting go is not abandonment, it's liberation. Leadership often demands solitude, and that solitude can feel heavy, but it is not a punishment, it's preparation. When you step away from the noise of others' expectations, you begin to hear your own truth clearly. Time alone isn't isolation, it's renewal. As Paul Tillich said, loneliness expresses the pain of being alone, and solitude expresses the glory of being alone. In the quiet, you process the guilt and resentment left by emotional manipulation. You shed the weight of their voices and reclaim your authenticity. Solitude is where healing begins. It's where you face the shadows cast by others' attempts to control and define you. Alone, you can unravel the knots of manipulation, see their patterns for what they are, and release their grip. It's not easy, but the silence of solitude is more honest than the noise of false validation. In that space, you rediscover your core, the authentic self buried beneath the weight of who you were told to be. You will face resistance, but don't mistake it for a sign to stop. They'll gossip, spreading half-truths and lies to discredit you. Their whispers aren't about your flaws, they're a shield for their egos, a way to deflect from their own shortcomings. Let them talk. Their words are powerless against your actions, and their opinions are not your truth. Keep moving. They'll pull at you, using guilt as a rope to drag you back into old patterns. You've changed, they'll say, hoping to make you question yourself. Don't fall for it. Their attempts to keep you in their comfort zone are tests of your resolve, not measures of your loyalty. Recognize them for what they are. Fear dressed as concern. Stay firm in your evolution. Passive aggression will come next. Subtle digs, cold shoulders, a quiet campaign of discomfort. This is how people express their inability to face their own insecurities. Respond with grace, but hold your boundaries like armor. You don't owe them explanations for your growth, and you certainly don't owe them your peace. The signs are clear, but you have to trust them. Inner peace is your first compass. When chaos surrounds you but your spirit feels calm and centered, it's not luck, it's alignment with your higher self. That peace is proof you're walking your path, no matter how wild the storm around you becomes. Hold on to it, it's your foundation. Then come the synchronicities, repeating numbers, unexpected opportunities, and chance encounters that feel too perfect to be random. They're not coincidences. They're affirmations from the universe, guiding you and reminding you that you're exactly where you need to be. When I met someone at a random event who shared my vision so deeply it felt predestined, I knew I was being shown a glimpse of my purpose unfolding. Their words mirrored the dreams I had quietly nurtured, and the connection felt like more than chance. It was a confirmation. In that moment, I realized that alignment isn't just internal. It's reflected in the people and opportunities drawn to you when you're walking your true path. It was as if the universe whispered, "Keep going, you're on the right track." That encounter wasn't just inspiring, it was transformative, a reminder that nothing is random when you're aligned. New connections will follow. These aren't the relationships you've outgrown, but ones that meet your elevated energy. They're built on support, growth, and mutual alignment with your vision. These people don't drain you, they energize you, reflect your evolution, and push you to rise even higher. The path you're on isn't for the faint-hearted, and that's exactly why it was made for you. Every obstacle, every ounce of resistance is not a sign to stop. It's proof that you're moving in the right direction. The world will try to weigh you down with guilt, doubt, and fear, but none of it defines you. You are not here to stay small or play by their rules. You are here to disrupt, to rise, and to lead. Release the guilt that tells you growth is betrayal. Let go of the fear that whispers you're unworthy. You are not bound by their expectations, their insecurities, or their limitations. Your evolution is not selfish, it's necessary. Every step you take forward is a light for those stuck in the shadows to find their own courage. You were born to blaze a trail, to leave behind what no longer serves you, and to inspire others to do the same. This is your moment. Step into it boldly. Honor the purpose that calls to you, the strength that carries you, and the truth that refuses to let you settle. Share your story, your lessons, your fire, because your light isn't just for you. Keep going. You were born for this.